Hey guys, David Franklin here with Cartersville UNCUT. Just doing an interview with different community leaders about the impact of COVID-19. And I'm with Dr. Jacob King, the pastor here at Liberty Square Church. And Jacob, I'm not sure any church, well, I know no church has been as impacted in North Georgia as the church here. And so I always want us to kind of walk through because y'all were the first church that we knew of. Give us a little walkthrough of how did you find out about this and all that kind of stuff.
Well, you know, like everybody else, I mean, we watched this unfold on the news in other places, in China, and it did not seem real until it came here.
Until it came here.
Until it came here. And we had a service, you were here on March the 1st, where we had, after that service, we found out, not that week, but the week after that, that we found out by getting a call. I got a call from the health department. And
so not the week of March the 1st, correct. The week of March the 8th.
Right, was when we got a call, was later on that week. Early in the week, it was probably around about the 10th of March is when we first found out. And that was a Tuesday, as I recall it.
It's a pretty stunning phone call, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very surreal and very somber. And we immediately, went on and canceled the next night service, which was a Wednesday night, because we had a prayer meeting the night before. We have prayer on Monday nights, and that was the last service we had that was in the building with an audience. We've been online since then. But when we found out about it, we really believed, I think like everybody else, that when there would be a temporary shutdown, I don't think we had a clue that it would last as long as it was going to last.
Right. So, none of our churches did. No. I mean, guys, I work with ministers, and nobody had that. So, Jacob, y'all immediately shut down, and have stayed shut down all the way through with online services and things. That's what most churches have done.
Correct.
Y'all. So the impact on the church being shut down, that was pretty significant. But you've had a number of people that have had COVID-19 and have lost some people, and
we have. It's been horrendous to see so many lives affected, and we did lose several people. Yeah. We've done many funerals over the last few weeks, and it's been a very tragic moment in a lot of people's lives and their families. We've lost some really good people.
Yeah. You know, I know some of those folks, and not even to be able to do funerals like we, as a pastor, I mean, doing a funeral is closure, but that's been tough on us.
I mean, the most inhumane thing is going to a graveside with a grieving widow and people in your church and not being able to hug and embrace and all of the natural things that you would do when someone is grieving. So it has been a very surreal experience for sure.
You know, it's been really, really tough to for y'all's church, because y'all had more cases than anybody, and even getting the news out to all the people at the churches. That's a crazy thing to have to start calling people and say, hey, listen, guys, we've been exposed to this. How have your people responded so far? Well,
I mean, you know, our people have been great. Our people have been very resilient. I mean, they're people, which means they're human. We all go through the motions of why me, to the emotions of grief and sorrow. And it's been a real test, I think, of our faith and our walk with the Lord. But I've seen the grace of God at work in some of the most difficult of circumstances.
You know, Jacob, I think it's natural for all of us to ask the question, why? And I think that's where faith plays in so much. And for me, just as a pastor, walking through the Bible with people to say, look, here's different reasons, and finding hope in God and strength in the Word of God, and just that comfort. We're going to come back, and I'm going to ask him some questions, everything from, okay, what's the reopening strategies to all kinds of things. So we'll be right back.
Hey Cartersville, Tim here at Treasure Chest Outlet. Hey, come in and take a look around for sofas, love seats, knick-knack things to set your TV on. We have dining tables, we have rugs. Hey, guess what? Come on back here and let me show you something back here. Hey, spring is over with. It's June. June means Father's Day. Whatever father wants is a recliner. We have recliners here at Treasure Chest Outlet. We have a few on the floor. We've got more coming, so come on by and check us out. We're located at 927 North Tennessee Street. Like us on Facebook. You just never know what you're going to find here at Treasure Chest Outlet.
Hello, Cartersville. This is Kelly Jones, and I'm here at Kennesaw Transportation. I just want to say that if you are looking to make a job change, we are here for you. We'd love to have you. We keep nice late model equipment, as you can see behind me. We are a family-owned company about to celebrate our 40th year anniversary. We have a sign-on bonus, benefits, 401k. I could just go on and on. So call me. The number is below, 1-888-BLUE-TRUCK. I would love to have you join our family. I hope you have a great, great year.
I'm Glenda Mitchell with Glenda Mitchell Law Firm. If you've been involved in an accident, give me a call. Let me help you. I give every client my personal cell phone number so you can call or text me anytime.
Glenda Mitchell Law Firm. We come to you.
Hey guys, David Franklin here with Cartersville UNCUT with the famous Doug Belisle, head of Bartow Collaborative. Doug, you work with all kinds of nonprofits and people helping and stuff like that. I've been going around asking different community leaders, from school superintendents to pastors to all kinds of people, how has COVID-19 impacted the world they work in? So I'm going to ask you the same thing. You work especially with the underserved and the underprivileged, the poor. How has this COVID-19 really, what are you seeing, how it's impacted them?
First and foremost is that everything's been shut down. So the places where people normally go to get services, they're having to figure out how to get services a different way. That you can no longer go into an office and request help for this, that, or the other. About the only things that have consistently stayed open have been the food pantries. And we've seen an uptick in the amount of people that are using food resources. But then I think the big thing is to consider is the unemployment rate. I mean, Georgia Department of Labor declared just in the month of April that unemployment went from 3.9% all the way up to 11.9%, which is the highest it's been in the history that they've been keeping numbers.
And the truth is, we know it's probably a little higher than that.
I think the May numbers are gonna probably be higher than that.
And Doug, I've heard some people talk about the fact that, and a bunch of people that we've been connected to, some of what we would call the working poor. Mm-hmm. Their hours have been cut, and to me, that group has been hit really, really hard.
Yeah, I think when you look at poverty and the people affected by poverty, you really have those. It's important to distinguish between those that are generationally in poverty, which means one or more generations has experienced poverty, and they're a little bit more in the depths of poverty. Then you've got the working class poverty. And then you have situational poverty. Situational poverty is what I think we'll see a lot more of. That happens when I've lost my job, when my hours get cut. Generally speaking, situational poverty occurs when a person is from the middle class, but all of a sudden through a circumstance or a crisis, they're thrown into poverty because of a situation. Those individuals tend to recover more quickly than those who were maybe in a situation of poverty when this COVID-19 business started.
I'm like you, I watch the news and stuff like that. A number of businesses in Bartow County have had to lay off people. And I know some of those people, man, you just grieve for them. All of a sudden, our group of poverty or people that are in need have gone up. They may have been middle class, and all of a sudden they've had to drop into there.
Yeah. And I think that's what we're seeing all over the nation. Yeah. But specifically in Bartow County, I know that some of our most vulnerable population kind of tends to be the first people that are let go. Although I think surprisingly what we've seen is a lot of restaurant and fast food workers and those kind of labor points have been busier than they've been. So some of our people that I don't want to say survive, because working at minimum wage is not by any means survival, but they've at least been able to maintain work.
It's kind of been interesting, hit and miss. I know the Dollar General near me, they've been doing great business.
That's right.
But other places, restaurants that had to close, man. I mean, I went to lunch today, and one of the waitresses that I've connected with, she was like, "Hey, it's good to see you back." I said, "It's good for you to be back."
That's right.
And so, Doug, when we're going to take a break, but I'm going to come back because there's something that's coming in June that you and I have talked about that, to me, I don't think the majority of people know, but we have a major occurrence coming with eviction notices and stuff like that.
That's right.
So when we come back, I'm going to ask Doug about this whole thing about just what's about to happen in the court system.
That's right.
SOS Mattress, best quality, best price, guaranteed. Where can you find a huge selection of high-end mattresses without paying high-end prices? SOS Mattress, best quality, best price, guaranteed. Where can you save 50 to 80% off retail every day? SOS Mattress, best quality, best price, guaranteed. We offer the lowest prices on the best name brand mattresses. SOS Mattress and Clearance Center on Highway 41 in Cartersville, 1 block south of Home Depot.
Hi, I'm Joshua Goodman with Elite Stone Supply. We sell everything from hardscaping, landscaping, stone, Husqvarna equipment, and premier portable buildings. We can make them from 6x10 all the way up to 16x40. We make garden sheds, garages, cabins, barns, anything you can think of, we can make it happen. Do you need to store Christmas stuff? Do you need to store a lawnmower? We can take care of that. Do you need to get away? Do you need a pool house by your pool? We can make it happen. Come check us out at Elite Stone Supply.
Hey guys, David Franklin back here with Dr. Jacob King, pastor here at the Church at Liberty Square. And Jacob, we've been talking about the incredible impact that COVID-19 has. You know, I don't know of anything in the last 100 years where a church had to shut down like this. All of our churches have.
I mean, to think about Easter and
Easter.
the Easter season. I mean,
Miss
think
Easter.
about that, to do that online, Good Friday online, and all of those things, just, I would think, unprecedented, at least in our lifetime.
Yeah, in our lifetime. But the church has responded, hasn't it?
You know, they have. I have been amazed at not only the faithfulness of God, but the faithfulness of God's people. And I think though the circumstances have been dire, and they've certainly been different than anything I think any of us have ever known, the church is not contained to a building, and it is not even contained to a method of ministry. Right. It is the people of God. And, you know, I've watched that scripture come to pass, that the church that the Lord's building, the gates of hell can't prevail against it.
You know, guys, in Jacob, church here, bigger impact from COVID-19 than any church I know of in Northwest Georgia. But listen, let's talk reopening, because all of our churches are going to reopen, and y'all are getting ready to reopen. But that in itself is a crazy thing. So talk about some of the things that you're doing to make sure that people are going to what the governor's given us and all those guidelines.
Well, we've tried to take the governor's guidelines and the best advice we could get. We've consulted the local hospital. We've talked to our governmental officials. We've talked to ecclesiastical officials and all of that. And what we're trying to do is take the most amount of precautions that we can with the social distancing, the way we're going to seat people, the way we're going to phase in ministry. We can't go back to everything all at once. We've added a service. We're not doing small groups right out of the gate. We're trying to do ministry in ways in the building that we can maintain those social distances between people and families.
So when people come up, they won't even be allowed to open the door, will they? They can't touch the door.
Well, I mean, you know, everything from the way they're seated to where they're seated, all of that will change temporarily. But I think this whole experience has been an interruption to the normal.
No doubt. It has definitely been an interruption. So y'all are opening on Sunday morning here, June
we are going to open on a Monday night on June 1st.
Monday night.
Our first service back, and our first service with people in the room that's open to the public will be June the 1st, and that'll be a prayer meeting. We have Monday night.
That's a Monday night prayer meeting.
And then June the 7th will be our first Sunday, that next Sunday, first Sunday in June.
You know, guys, a lot of people are asking me, pastors, how many people do you think will come back? And what we're seeing is a lot of senior adults are still encouraged by the governor after June the 13th, but a lot of people, churches are between 30 and 50% people coming back, and it's kind of a trickle back in. and that's pretty normal. And Jacob, everybody wants to know when are we going to open up? Well, you said it. It's kind of a phase back in.
It is.
As we see numbers continuing to go down in Georgia and here in Bartow County, and we're very thankful for.
Yeah.
Listen, when we come back, I'm gonna ask you. I'm gonna save this question because I don't want to give it to him. It's gonna be more on a personal note. But then I'm gonna ask this question. Two questions. The first one I'll hold. The second one is, what's been the secret to you and the people being sustained here? So we'll be right back.
Hey, this is Joe Wilson, co-owner of Parnick Jennings Funeral Home, Cartersville's locally owned funeral home, serving all of Bartow County since 1977. The biggest difference of our funeral home here in Bartow County, Cartersville, is that we are a locally owned funeral home. We make all our decisions right here in the funeral home. When people walk in the door, they're going to meet the owner and know that we're making decisions on what's best for the families that have placed their trust and confidence in us and the needs of our community. One thing we always say to families that place their trust in us is ask a family we have served. We want people to know that when they come here for probably one of the most difficult experiences in their life, that they can feel comfortable with us. On behalf of myself and all the staff here at Parnick Jennings Funeral Home, we want you to know it would be our honor to serve your family during your time of need. Please call us at 770-382-0034.
This is Cartersville Cell Phone Repair. We appreciate the community and enjoy serving you. Stop in for great deals for cases for all model phones. We have gently used tablets, phones, computers, car mounts, pop sockets, and Bluetooths. Not only are we the most committed phone shop in Cartersville, but we pride ourselves on quality repairs and sales. Stop in today. Come meet our team. Thanks, Cartersville.
Hey, David Franklin back here, Cartersville UNCUT with Doug Belisle, who's the Executive Director for Bartow Collaborative. Doug is the point person who works with all of these nonprofits, and Doug, you and I tag team on a whole lot of stuff.
That's right.
Listen, you told me about something that I hadn't even thought about coming in June. So talk to the folks about what's coming in June when it comes to serious housing stuff.
Absolutely. Well, in June, towards the beginning of June, the judicial state of emergency is going to stop. So that looks like it's going to be, unless they change the date, looks like it's going to be around June the 12th. And when that happens, because all the courts or necessary court functions have been open, but all those other things like eviction trials and dispossessory trials, those things have not been going on. So there's been a backlog of evictions that have happened. And so I'm working with a team of individuals to basically look at how we're going to respond to that crisis, because there's people who, due to COVID-19 or due to various circumstances, have been unable to pay their rent. And some of our folks that live in the crisis of poverty, they don't think about future things. They think about, what do I need to do today? So if I don't have to pay my rent today, then I'm going to take that money and I'm going to spend it on something else. So potentially what we're facing in June is a whole lot of people who rent's going to come due, not that it hasn't been due, but the time where they can get an eviction is going to be due, and they're going to be evicted from their residence. And
that, guys, that's a real thing. And Doug, working with folks, a lot of people just, the lack of evictions, they couldn't evict, but now they can, and understand every landlord who says, hey, I gotta have my money, and they gotta do that. So that's something to put on to pray about thing.
That's right.
Doug, flipping now to think, all the nonprofits, you work with all of them, how are they doing, man?
It's been an interesting season for nonprofits, not just in Bartow County, but everywhere. And when you think about nonprofits, it's, we're funded through a variety of different sources, but a decent percentage of that, at least for a lot of our nonprofits in Bartow County, come through event donations. Like, we're going to run a fundraiser.
Yeah.
So 5Ks had been postponed, summer or spring benefits and things like that are big times where a lot of the nonprofits in our community fundraise. Those things have gone away because we haven't been able to gather. And so a lot of our nonprofits are scrambling to try to go, okay, how do we, number one, cut costs? And number two, how do we begin to approach this in a new way to fundraise? And it's been a struggle for quite a few.
Hey, listen, and I'm well aware that a lot of people do fundraising in the spring. All of that got shut down. You know, Doug, I work with all these churches. Every mission trip, every vacation Bible school, every youth camp, the summer has just been blitzed. I mean,
That's right.
It's like, okay, what world do we live in? I want to hey, that's something folks can pray about, because I'm telling you that's huge, y'all. But I want to talk about something else, some of the other impacts that we're seeing, not just on the poor, but Doug, we're seeing a explosion across the nation of suicides and alcoholism and all kinds of stuff. Let's talk about that a little bit. What are you hearing about that?
I mean, all of that stuff is on the rise. Some of those are consequences of just sheltering in place. I mean, Number one, for a lot of us, probably a lot of people watching this show, sheltering in place was kind of like staycation. I mean, you're in your nice, comfortable house, and you're working remotely, or you're enjoying life of a savings account or whatnot. But for a lot of our families, home is not a safe place, or there's not a home for safe place. So take a family that's living in a vehicle. Can you imagine spending time with your family in a vehicle for so things like that affect our mental health. That's when we see things like suicide rates go up, unemployment affects suicide rates, but also domestic violence on a national level, and for sure state and countywide. Domestic violence has skyrocketed because people who aren't used to spending that much time together, tensions rise, and you've lost a job, and all those things that tend to trigger us to act out in either substance abuse ways or violent ways. Those have been exacerbated during this season.
And Doug, there's hopelessness, and I think as we wrap this up, let me just encourage y'all. Okay, there's always hope. I'm telling you, there's always hope. It will get better. And guys, I share all that with you just so, listen, put folks on your prayer list, because we need to be praying for each other. Doug, thank you for your time. Thank you for the work that Bartow Collaborative does. And y'all, thank you for tuning in, and make sure that you're caring about your neighbor.
Hello, Cartersville. If you haven't been by lately, come on by and check us out. We've totally revamped the store. We've added a lot more large capacity washers for your big loads. We have 40 pounders, 60 pounders, and 80 pounders for those huge loads. If you've got large bedding, come on by and see us. We've got the machine you need from a single person all the way up to a multi-family. If you're tired of doing laundry yourself, we offer a wash, dry, and fold service where you can drop it off. A few hours later, come back, it's ready to wear. We're located at 406 North Tennessee Street. It's All American Coin Laundry. Come by and see us for all your laundry needs.
If you've been injured in an accident, call the Glenda Mitchell Law Firm.
Give us a call anytime. You'll talk directly to me.
Let this specialist in auto accidents fight for you. Call 770-694-1883 today.
Hi, welcome to Spencer Family Medicine. We're located on Henderson Drive in Weston Commons Shopping Center.
Unlike most medical clinics, we do labs right here in the office, including x-rays, saving you the hassle of scheduling yet another appointment across town.
Here at Spencer Family Medicine, we accept almost all insurance plans.
And we can almost always fit you in for same-day appointments.
We serve patients young to old.
From urgent care issues like broken bones to long-term issues like weight management and hormone therapy.
Not only that, but Dr. Spencer and staff are trained in aesthetic work.
So come to see us at Spencer Family Medicine. We would love for you to be a part of our family.
I'm Dr. Spencer, and I approve this message.
Okay, girls. Ready?
Ready, go.
Hey guys, David Franklin, back just to wrap up this final segment with Jacob King talking about the impact of COVID-19. Church at Liberty Square, what a huge impact here. Jacob, we talked about that, but I want to get real personal. I want to ask you something. I want to know you personally. How has this impacted you, and what's it like being the pastor, watching a church go through this, and you personally Just share a little bit of your
Well,
heart.
I mean, it will shock some people. Even pastors are human. And so you go through every human emotion from grief and loss to just the emptiness that I think this has produced in so many of us. You add to that fact the hurting nature of people that you care about. I know we've gone through phases of this. The first few days, of course, we were, so concerned about so many in the hospital, those that had passed away, grieving family members. And then you move out of that phase as people began to get better into the isolation phase and trying to minister to people and all of that. And we're not immune to that. Pastors aren't immune to that. And it's one of the most unusual, difficult seasons I think I've ever walked through personally.
Y'all, I'm a people person, and the idea of not going out to lunch, I went all this long time and didn't buy a single person lunch, which is trying, but Jacob, I mean.
You called me more than once. You said, let's go to lunch. I said, everything's closed, David. We're in our house.
But Jacob, the missing relationships is real. I mean, and getting together with other people. I know what it's like to be a pastor, but I'm not sure only a handful of people know what it's like when you have to carry a weight that nobody else carries. Carrying that weight here, how have you walked through these days?
I would say two words out of this crisis come to my mind. The first word is unknown. There were so many unknowns, and I think that is where the fear factor can soar in a pastor's life, because you just don't know. You don't know what's going to happen. And we still have so many unknowns. The second word that people use so much now is the word essential. We talk about essential businesses. Here's what I've learned. I've learned that God was there for me in my moment of the unknown. And I've learned that very few things are essential. What I thought was essential. The list is certainly shorter today. My faith, my family, and a love for people in this community. Everything else is great. We thank God for ministry. We thank God for the buildings. We thank God for all of the things that He's given us to do. But when you really get down to it, that circle gets drawn very, very sparsely around what really matters.
What really matters.
And I think you do a lot of soul searching. I know I did. I will never view ministry the same having gone through this. I don't know that I'll ever view much of anything the same having gone through this.
I've been asking people, what's your COVID-19 moment? Because I think everybody needs to search that. Jacob, y'all are starting back with a prayer meeting.
We are.
Why a prayer meeting?
Prayer sustained us through this crisis. Certainly grateful for our Sunday morning services. But our Monday night prayer meetings have been the lifeblood of our church since the beginning of this year. And that was no more true than during this crisis. And I just think it was so fitting. We believe that that the church is supposed to be above all things a house of prayer. It's not a house of preaching. It's not a house of music. Jesus said, my house will be called a house of prayer. And so, for us to come back to that, that's how we're going to start. And we'll open up that next Sunday, of course, for Sunday services.
Jacob, that idea of prayer, and I just want to encourage you, every one of you, get to pray right where you are. You don't have to come to church to pray any place. I think a lot of people, matter of fact, a statistic I saw, there's been more praying in the last stretch than any time in America. Listen, Jacob, I want you to know you and all the pastors, all the church has been praying for y'all because this has been a difficult time. It's impacted us, all of us, in ministry. So, guys, let me encourage you, be praying for each other because we need each other and we need to be found praying for one another. So, Jacob, thank you for your time. Listen, thank y'all, guys, and keep up the good work of praying for one another.